But our biggest swing voter is our base, who won't swing to Donald Trump or a Republican, but they will swing right out to the couch if they don't think that it's worth their time, nobody's paid them attention, or they're being ignored or taken for granted. They won't vote. And we know what happens when that happens. It's 2016 all over again.
People are even suggesting other options other than the two-party system. But oh wait, you don't know about any of that because your genre of people are too busy trying to stir up drama and too intellectually lazy to look up why people may not want to vote or may not want to vote Democrat or Republican. How about we do some learning before we actually speak? Thank you.
Well, hello, Clay. I don't feel like bullying nobody's child today, but let me check you real quick. I have never used my platform to tell somebody what they got to do or threaten somebody or make them feel like a bad person because they voted or didn't vote. That is your business. If you don't want to vote, that's your business. I don't pay your damn bills. If you want to sit your ass at home and eat honey buns, that is your business. And you have every right as an American citizen to throw your vote away or even vote third party if that's what you choose to do. But since we're talking third party, let's talk about viability. Third parties don't have an option, don't have an ability of winning a general election. So when you throw that vote away to a third party, you are letting Republicans win by default. And my real question is, do Republicans, do they align with your better interests? Do they align with your policies? Do they align with anything you agree with? I don't think so. Even though I may not agree with everything Democrats are doing, they align most to my policies because I know that I have the ability to use my voice and my platform to move them more left and make them think more progressively. Now, when we're talking about Democrats and you're so mad at corporate Democratic shills, this, the, and the other, and all these other things, my question is, are you voting in the primary against the opponent that actually is more progressive and actually put them in the general so they can win to be sent to Congress who actually align with your views, align with your issues? Do you vote in a primary? When the last time you vote, babe? I want to know.
All right, guys. So one of the silver linings of the Republicans' election defeat just a couple of days ago is that it's going to give Democrats the false impression that Joe Biden can win in 2024 and that they should not actively be trying to replace him. They should not have a real primary in order to find somebody that has a better chance of winning than Biden. So this is a good thing for Republicans despite the loss. All they got to do is just stop talking about abortion, right? And maybe, just maybe, they can actually win some elections. Who knows? Maybe they don't actually really want to win. But regardless, in the meantime, Democrats are still arguing about whether or not Joe Biden should drop out. Again, some Democrats feel like the recent election victory for Democrats doesn't mean that Joe Biden's a viable candidate. And some Democrats do feel like it means that Joe Biden is a viable candidate in 2024. Take a look.
Kara. No, he shouldn't. Why should he pull out? I mean, for a loser, he's winning an awful lot. And it's not just this election. It was in all over the country. Every election we've had, they keep winning. And if you're not asking these questions about Donald Trump, who wanders around like a fatuous popinjay all the time, and you don't say he's in trial during most of the campaign season. No one says, should he quit? No one says that.
I think he should quit.
Well, okay, you do, yes. But I'm just saying it's not the same discussion that's happening.
For sure, because Donald Trump isn't the president and
Sure.
Joe Biden is. And I completely disagree with you on this idea that he's going around winning. The governor in Kentucky barely mentioned his name at all. The candidates running in Virginia didn't mention his name. They're trying to distance themselves from him. He is unpopular. He is very unpopular.
That happens every single election season. The incumbent often doesn't have long coattails, and the down ballot tends not to try and, hitch themselves to that wagon. So I don't know why Joe Biden is getting such short shrift.
This is great for Republicans, by the way. I mean, have at it, have him run again. But the truth is that this is unique. When you look at Barack Obama, his polling was much, much stronger during his first term. Even when things got dicey, it was in response to news events. With President Biden, this has been weakness from the very first year of his presidency.
Let me just Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? So, yeah, you have the establishment media arguing back and forth about whether or not Joe Biden should drop out. Meanwhile, you do have people that are running against Joe Biden because they feel like Joe Biden's too old, that he's not a viable candidate. And one of those guys is Dean Phillips, who is coming out and saying the quiet part out loud after a short experience of running for president in the Democrat primary against Joe Biden. he has realized that the game is rigged, right? That the DNC is rigged, and he's basically apologizing to Bernie Sanders and screaming at the top of his lungs that, hey, this is being rigged in favor of Joe Biden. We actually really don't have a real choice in regards to whether or not Joe is going to be the candidate, right? He says, I have an apology to make to Bernie Sanders. I had long dismissed his complaints about the rigged Democrat Party primary system, but you know what? He was right, and I apologize. Bernie, voter suppression, New Hampshire, candidate suppression, ballot access, and debate suppression, none. If you're among the majority of Democrats who won't change, please visit dean24.com and help us create the change. Yeah, so again, this is amazing how a Democrat running in the Democrat primary is basically accusing the Democrats of doing what they accuse Republicans of doing. Now, these are the same people that scream at the top of their lungs about democracy, democracy, democracy. Okay, most of their party wants to have a different candidate. Okay, however, the DNC, the establishment powers that be, are basically determined to essentially not allow this Democrat process to actually work out in a way that is democratic. And then you have the liberal media talking heads who, again, scream about democracy every single time they talk about Trump, basically endorsing not having a real primary, or the Democrats basically overthrowing democracy. Take a look.
As Jill Stein has announced she's running again today, it just seems that people either don't like Joe Biden, don't like the Democrats, but they should love democracy. And that is what Democrats actually bring to the table.
Bobby Kennedy Jr., doing well. He's at 19%. Hasn't really gotten that much out there. I mean, and I'm starting to hear more and more talk about him. Are we going to actually have a challenge here?
I'm trying not to laugh, Joe. There's not going to be.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
Do you know how many people said the same thing about Donald Trump in 2015 on this show?
Except
said
I will
the
note,
same exact thing.
Yes, because there was going to be a Republican primary. But I really think that the mealy-mouthed Democrats, as I like to call them, and some of my progressive friends who would like to live in a fantasy land, they need to come back to reality. Yeah. And the reality is this. The sitting president of the United States of America is a Democrat that would like to run for re-election, so much so that he has declared a re-election campaign. Right. In that case, the Democratic National Committee will not facilitate a primary process. There will be no debate stage for Bobby Kennedy, Marianne Williamson, or anyone else to stand on.
So we're going to have another Bobby Kennedy in an empty chair in the debate, right?
There will be no debate.
Yeah, no debate.
The Democratic National Committee administers the debates, and they're not going to set up a primary process for debates for someone to challenge the head of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so that clip of Simone Sanders was when RFK was still running in the Democrat primary against Joe Biden. Now, what you heard there was Simone Sanders basically say out loud that, yeah, DNC is not going to have a real primary. They're not going to have any real debates, right? That they basically rigged it in favor of Joe Biden. Doesn't matter what voters want. Doesn't matter what they say. They've rigged it in favor of Joe Biden. I mean, like, just openly said it out loud on MSNBC. Now, again, RFK drops out of the Democrat primary because he says that, hey, I think it's, rigged, right? Now you get Dean Phillips, who is a moderate Democrat. This guy's a moderate, okay? He's not even like a far leftist. He's not an outsider. He's an establishment guy who's running against Joe because he thinks Joe is too old and he's going to lose to Trump, right? He gets in the race, and now he's saying, yeah, DNC is rigging it, okay? That voters don't really have a choice. And again, it's amazing to me because I just did a video about Ronald McDaniel, who is facing a lot of backlash from Republicans and conservatives about her leadership in RNC, and she basically admitted that, yeah, I'm not going to give money to Vivek, right, because he criticized me, which is rigging the system, right? I mean, what people are starting to realize is that the real rigging of our election system actually happens within the RNC and the DNC, right? I mean, they're basically two sides of the same coin in the sense that through power and control, right, establishment control, they kind of greased the wheels of democracy, right? And tried to swing things in certain directions for certain candidates, right? And that seems to be something that happens on both sides of the political aisle. And this is why you have more and more people, right, that are basically looking to get outside of the two-party system, right? Because they realize that the two-party system is essentially anti-democratic. And that's why you have people that are coming out and kind of supporting these third parties. Now, liberals, again, who claim to, love democracy, right? We love democracy. Okay. Apparently they hate democracy when democracy hurts their Lord and Savior, Joe Biden, or more specifically, the Biden influencers, right? The paid Biden influencers really, really, really don't like democracy, especially when it comes to third party candidates. Like, for example, Jill Stein, who just declared that she was running for president. Now they're boohoo whining and crying about democracy. Take a look.
So Jill Stein has just announced that she will be running for president again in 2024 as an independent. For those of you who don't know who Jill Stein is, she is the infamous Green Party candidate that ran for president in 2016, siphoned voters away from Hillary Clinton, and allowed Donald Trump to become president. So flash forward to 2023, Donald Trump is running for president again, and Jill Stein is doing the exact same thing. Now, my question is, why? Why is she running when she knows she can't win? And the reason I know she knows she can't win is because she only scored 1.07% of the popular vote back in 2016. So I ask again, why is she running if she knows she can't win? Well, I think the obvious answer is because she wants to sabotage the Democrats and let Donald Trump coast his way back into a second term. I mean, there's no other explanation or rationale for someone who gets 1% of the vote to throw their hat in the ring. Maybe she's funded by GOP backers or foreign adversaries. I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Angus here. And this ain't nothing more than trying to siphon votes away from Biden. That's all this is about. They know they have a toxic agenda, a toxic party. They know that America is rejecting it. I mean, look what happened 2 days ago. They got their asses handed to them across the country. And in Mississippi, conveniently, there were ballot shortages in the predominantly black districts. Well, wasn't that fucking convenient? They know they have no shot at ever gaining the popular vote again. So the only thing they have left to do is throw out these third-party candidates backed by Republican money to do the same thing they did to Hillary in 2016. We're going to siphon just enough votes in a few key districts to where we can gain the Electoral College advantage. That's all this is about. What a bunch of fucking cowards. Too fucking stupid to get rid of Trump. Too fucking stupid to change their policies. No, but we're just going to dig right in, become even more extreme and harder, and because we have billionaires who want, keep taxes, don't want to pay taxes and bullshit like that. We're just going to keep throwing out third-party candidates in hopes that we siphon just enough votes.
Anybody entering the race at this point is 1, seeking clout, 2, trying to push Donald Trump closer to the White House, and 3, does not care about America or its people. Because all you're going to do is split more votes, pull votes away from the Democratic Party, and you don't care about us. Because everybody knows that a third party is not going to win. Jill Stein did this in 2016. She is part of the reason that Hillary lost. Hillary lost for numerous reasons. She ran a great campaign, but the Bernie bros were pissed at Hillary. So they either protest voted, didn't vote at all. And then Jill Stein came on the scene, and because there were lots of women who wanted to vote for a woman but didn't want to vote for Hillary because they didn't like what they had heard about Hillary, even though Hillary's been right this whole fucking time, they cast their vote for Jill Stein. And Jill Stein pulled a great deal of votes away from Hillary. A great deal. Please do not vote for her again. This is not your knight in shining armor. Jill Stein is not going to save America.
Yeah, like I told you guys, liberals hate democracy when it doesn't work out in their favor, right? Again, these same people, again, they claim they love democracy when they're trying to trash Trump, but when it doesn't work out in the way that they want, they hate it. They can't stand it, right? Can't stand giving voters more options in regards to who to vote for. Okay, they lose their mind at the thought of having more options outside of just the two-party system. It's pretty amazing stuff. It really is. But overall, I think a lot of people are fed up with a two-party system. They're seeing the writing on the wall in regards to how, again, it's not very democratic, that they do rig things in favor of candidates that they want to win. And a lot of people are fed up, and this is why they're not voting at all or voting for somebody else. And that's just the reality of American politics. And I think now more than ever is a time where I think you're going to see more people consider voting third party just out of protest in regards to the two-party system that we have and how it's basically been a disaster for the American people. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.